The Green Bay Packers are on the road to take on the San Francisco 49ers. The NFC Divisional round is underway. My two best bets are on the way. What's going on? My name is Austin from Calling Our Shot. This is our second NFL video for Saturday. Our first one involved the Texans and Ravens, posted right before this one. Go check out my two best bets in that video. We also recapped how we did in Wild Card Weekend, which wasn't the greatest week, but it's a new week, and we're going to dominate this weekend. Let's go 2-0 in this video, 2-0 in that video, and let's dominate. But before we dive into that, there's a great offer right now on BetMGM that I want you guys to take advantage of. They've not only upgraded their bonus bet offer, they're giving you some more things. They're giving you $158 in bonus bets. All you got to do is bet $5. That's a pretty dang good offer, if you ask me. All you got to do is sign up, top link in the description, bet $5 on anything. You get $158 in bonus bets instantly. Take advantage of that. BetMGM, we love them. I don't know if our prop there is best odds on BetMGM, but I will note their lines are normally pretty slow to move. And compared to like FanDuel and DraftKings, they move their lines instantly. BetMGM, normally one of the books that I swear stays a little bit slower to move those lines. So definitely, if you want to sign up for BetMGM, details in the description, as well as in the description, you will find that Texans and Ravens video that you definitely can go check out, posted right before this one. But you guys came here for some NFL best bets. We're diving into the first one. Let's talk about the guy in the thumbnail. George Kittle, I like his over 51.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on BetMGM. Now, at the end of this video, we will talk about who I think wins and who I think covers, and as well as where I think to go over or under. So we'll talk about that, save that till the end. Let's talk about why I like George Kittle on Saturday Night Football. Now, I would put this up to about 55.5. Now, George Kittle is normally an all or nothing guy. You're normally getting like 70 yards or getting like 20. Hopefully we're on the 70 page here, and he's been really good at home, and that's why we're going to back him. Now, obviously, it is tough to choose which 49er playmaker is going off. Hopefully it is George Kittle, and heck, he really doesn't need to go off to get 51.5 yards. Now, you look at Kittle, this season, been really good. Hit this over in 10 of 16 games. At home, he's been even better. Hit this over in 6 of 7 home games, where he's had 9, 67, 76, 89, 90, 126, and 149 yards. So like I said, he's been a home beast. He puts on a show for the San Francisco crowd, and hopefully he does that once again here. And I really think it's just a good match to back him against the Green Bay Packers. Now, Packers defense, not great at a lot of different things, but they've been better as of late. Give them props where props is due. But the books do think George Kittle is in for a good day. You look at his over in receptions. Over 3.5 receptions, about minus 150. And that gets even worse than that, like minus 170, even close to minus 200 on some books. So they're like, hey, we really think George Kittle gets 4 receptions. And this season, actually, he only has 4 receptions in 6 of 16 games. Very low in terms of hit rate to be that juiced. But you've looked at it. When he has 4 or more receptions, hit the over in all of these games. 68, 78, 126, 90, 89, and 149 yards. Now, you look at the Packers. What they are really bad at is over the middle. They've been really actually what they're good at is stopping running backs out of the backfield, not giving up a lot of receiving yards to running backs. So I don't see CMC having a huge day in the air. Probably has a good day on the ground, though. But the Packers have allowed the 3rd most tight end receptions of 20 or more yards. What we know Kittle is good at, getting over the middle or maybe getting into the seams, getting the catch and just running. And that's he just keeps running. And this guy we know has elite yards after the catch, really elite, break tackle too. And I really looked at his over 22.5 yards for his longest reception. But I rather just take this because we know Kittle is capable of, one catch, maybe a couple catches for 20 yards apiece. Boom, he's already close to this line. I would think there's going to have plenty of room over the middle against the Green Bay Packers, a team that's really struggled against tight ends. I think the Packers are going to try to slow down anything. It's CMC in the rushing attack and probably Deebo Samuel. So I like Ayuk and Kittle to do their thing. I really think Kittle's in for a great matchup here. So I really think he has a good chance of getting over this line. He could do it in the first half. He could do it on one catch. We've seen him do that before. Just a very, elite guy yards after the catch, which is kind of something the Packers have struggled against, especially over the middle. That's kind of where Kittle feasts in zone coverage against that look. I really like George Kittle on Saturday Night Football over 51.5 receiving yards. Now, my second pick is going to be a same game parlay. We don't do a ton of these, but we have done them and we've had good success. It's not a Lions same game parlay, which I believe we are 7-0 in our last 7. It is going to be one that involves both teams here, though. Lions same game parlay bettors. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We got one. But let's talk with these 3 fellas. Jordan Love for 200-plus passing yards, Christian McCaffrey for 50-plus rushing yards, and Brandon Ayuk for 50-plus receiving yards. This is plus 112 on FanDuel, risking 1 unit to win 1.12. Now, if you're on Bet365, minus 120, pretty good there. DraftKings, don't even bother clicking the buttons. DraftKings notoriously always sucks for NFL same-game parlays. No idea what their calculator's doing, but just don't take it there. Go to FanDuel if you can. Now, we want to start with Jordan Love, who I think has a pretty good game. Now, I don't necessarily think the Packers win this game. They are 9.5-point underdogs, but you look at Love, he's been an absolute beast, one of the best QBs in the NFL. 200 pass yards on 15 of 18, obviously including last week's game. And he has 200 pass yards in 12 straight. And you look at 12 quarterbacks with 30-plus pass attempts versus San Fran, 10 of 12 had 200 more passing yards. Now, Love's pass attempts line is 36.5. Woof. I was going to take the pass attempts line, but 36.5, man, there cannot be any big plays or else Love's not getting that done. And look, if he doesn't get the 30 plus pass attempts, either one, he got injured, which would suck, or two, he's having a very efficient day like he did in Dallas, which then he easily has 200 yards. But we know what San Fran's great at, stopping the run. So Aaron Jones, you've had a great, 3 or 4 game stretch. Don't see a big game coming here. This is going to be a tough matchup against one of the worst defenses to run against. And we've seen Love, when that happens, they just lean on his arm, and he's been really good. Doesn't run a ton out of the pocket. He will have his opportunities with all of his wide receivers and tight ends healthy. Pretty confident he gets 200 pass yards, especially if they're trailing. Now, the next guy is Christian McCaffrey, 50-plus rushing yards. He's done that in 14 of 16 games played. He's a perfect 7 for 7 at home, so been really good at home getting those rush yards. He's had 3 weeks. He did not play the last week of the season. Didn't play last week because they had a bye. So he's had 3 weeks to get ready after that little bit of a calf injury. I'm not too concerned about him. They got his rush attempts lines at the 18.5. I'm pretty confident you can run on the Packers. Their defense has been better recently, but it's Christian McCaffrey. He's going to get 50 rushing yards, even if it's a terrible game script. And as long as he stays healthy, he's going to get that done. And the final leg is arguably the one where I could see us losing. If we were to lose on a leg, I don't see Love or McCaffrey being the guy to screw us. Let's see Brandon Ayuk for 50 receiving yards. But talk about Ayuk, man. A very underrated season. I mean, to be underrated, Brandon Ayuk's been insane. 50 receiving yards in 12 of 16. He has done that in 6 of 7 home games. So just like Kittle, just like CMC, been really good at home. That's normally where Brock Purdy plays the best. And he's at 1,300 yards, more than that this season. I mean, talk about probably the most underwhelming, not underwhelming, but the unheard of, like very silent 1,300 yard season. He's had one of the best seasons out of any wide receiver this season. And hardly anyone's been talking about it because of CMC and Debo and Kittle doing their thing. But Brandon Ayuk's been the staple of their offense, always getting those yards, always getting open. And just like Kittle, he runs a lot of routes over the middle. I think he gets a lot of open opportunities. Now, the worst case scenario is if, Kittle or Ayuk maybe goes off and maybe screws our Kittle bet. But I think there's plenty of opportunity here. I looked at Brock Purdy's pass attempts line. It's at the 30.5, which is a line that he's notoriously pretty much gone under in almost every single game this year. So I'm pretty confident he's throwing it a good amount. I think he'll have some opportunities. Ayuk's been a guy he's trusted all year long. He's capable of those big plays, which the Packers will give up. But I think there's at 200 yards for Love, 50 for McCaffrey, and 50 for Ayuk. I really like this. So we'll take the same game parlay plus 112 on FanDuel. We've done really well in the SGPs. Let's hopefully put another ring under our belt and we can cash another one. Now, my final bet of the day, well, those are my 2 bets. Let's talk about who I think covers and who I think are the over or under here. Now, let's talk about who I think covers. I think it's the 49ers minus 9.5. I do actually like the over 50.5. Now, I don't do a lot of game picks because I've never notoriously been great at game picks. I try to do them here and there. If you check the record, we haven't had a great track record this year. So if you want to fade these, definitely go for it. They're not going to be tracked towards my record. And don't let my opinion dictate if you're going to bet the over or the under or one of the sides. But if I had to bet on this one, I think the 49ers take care of business here. But I actually like the over a little bit more. I think setting an over at 50.5. We rarely see any high overs, but the fact that they get this one up in the 50s, I think pretty good telltale sign that they're expecting a lot of points here. And I think that the Packers will have to score some points to keep up with the 49ers. And honestly, I think the 49ers could potentially hit 35-ish points themselves. So if you want to just take 49ers team total, wouldn't call you crazy. But I think the Packers with Jordan Love will put up some points too. So I do like the over a little bit more. The spread could come pretty close. I think the 49ers win this one, but I think the spread could come close. Maybe a backdoor cover potential for the Packers too. But I really do like the over in this one if I had to bet it. Like I said, it's just lanes. I'm not going to track them towards my record. I'm not going to put any of my own money on it unless it's like a long shot same game parlay. But in terms of what I have my real money, 1 unit each on the same game parlay, 250 and 50. And then we got obviously George Kittle's regular over in yards. Let's have a 2-0 day. And like I said, if you want to go check out my best bets for that Ravens and Texans game, that video is posted right before this one. It is linked on the screen. Go check it out. I'll have another 2 videos for Sunday slate of games, so don't worry about that. We'll have those games covered later on Saturday afternoon or evening. And heck, it's probably those videos are posted before this game even kicks off. So definitely check that out. I'll link them on the screen if they are live before this game goes. But let's have a wonderful Saturday. Let's go 4-0. We have 2 picks in this one, 2 picks in that Ravens-Texans game. Go check it out. Click it. If you want to sign up for BetMGM, details in the description. Get $158 in bonus bets. You guys have a great Saturday. See you guys back on Sunday with some more picks. Peace.